For 31 days, no one reported her missing. No frantic 911 calls. No midnight searches. No urgent pleas to bring her home. She was only 2 years old. Her name was Caylee Anthony. And by the time the world learned she was gone, the truth was already tangled in lies, silence, and suspicion. This is not just the story of a missing child. It is the story of a family unraveling, a justice system put on trial, and a verdict that still divides America. Caylee Anthony was born on August 9, 2005, in Orlando, Florida. To those who knew her, she was cheerful, affectionate, and full of life. She loved to dance. She loved to laugh. And most of all, she loved her mother. Caylee lived with her mother, Caylee Anthony, and her grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony, in a modest suburban home. From the outside, it looked like a typical multi-generational household. Sometimes tense, sometimes loud but familiar. Inside, however, cracks were forming. Caylee Anthony was 22 years old, unemployed, restless, often at odds with her parents. She craved independence, freedom, and escape from responsibility. And Caylee was always there. The last confirmed sighting of Caylee Anthony occurred in June 2008. What happened next depends entirely on who you believe. According to Caylee Anthony, she dropped Caylee off with a babysitter named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. She said Caylee would be safe. She said she would be back, but Caylee was never seen again. Days passed, then weeks. Caylee continued living her life, spending time with friends, attending parties, staying away from home, and no one called the police. For over a month, Caylee Anthony was missing, and no missing child report was filed. When questioned later, Caylee claimed Caylee was safe, that she spoke to her regularly, that there was no reason to worry. But Cindy Anthony began to worry anyway. She noticed her granddaughter was gone. She noticed Caylee's explanations didn't make sense. She noticed the stories kept changing. And then she noticed something else. The car. On July 15, 2008, Cindy Anthony dialed 911. Her voice trembled. "I've been looking for my granddaughter for a month." Moments later, she called again. This time, her voice was panicked. "My daughter's car smells like there's been a dead body in it." Those words instantly transformed a family dispute into a criminal investigation. Police took custody of Caylee Anthony, and as they began questioning her, the lies began to pile up. Caylee told police she worked at Universal Studios. She didn't. She said co-workers could confirm her schedule. They couldn't. She claimed Caylee had been with the babysitter for weeks. The babysitter didn't exist. Investigators followed Caylee as she confidently walked them through Universal Studios, hallway by hallway, until she finally stopped and admitted the truth. She had lied about everything. At this point, Caylee was still missing, but something else was becoming clear. This was no ordinary disappearance. As the case exploded across national media, the public began to scrutinize Caylee Anthony's behavior. Photos surfaced of her partying at nightclubs, laughing, dancing, smiling. She was not seen searching. She was not seen pleading for help. And then came the tattoo. On her shoulder were the words, "Bella Vita," the beautiful life. For many Americans, that moment sealed her fate in the court of public opinion. But criminal trials are not decided by emotion. They are decided by evidence. In December 2008, a utility worker discovered skeletal remains in a wooded area less than a mile from the Anthony home. Nearby were a blanket, trash bags, and duct tape. The remains were identified as Caylee Anthony. The nation mourned a child, and prosecutors prepared for war. The state of Florida charged Caylee Anthony with first-degree murder. Prosecutors alleged that Caylee wanted freedom, that motherhood had become a burden. They claimed she searched for chloroform online, drugged Caylee, suffocated her, and disposed of her body. The case was built on circumstantial evidence. Asterisk internet searches. Asterisk the odor in the car. Asterisk duct tape found near Caylee's skull. Asterisk Caylee's repeated lies. To many, it felt overwhelming. But the defense saw weakness. When the trial began in 2011, millions watched every moment. Then the defense delivered a shocking alternative theory. They claimed Caylee drowned accidentally in the family pool. They alleged that Casey's father, George Anthony, discovered the body and helped cover it up to protect the family. They painted Caylee not as a killer, but as a deeply damaged young woman shaped by fear and trauma. The courtroom was stunned. The prosecution denied these claims. George Anthony denied everything, but the damage was done. Reasonable doubt had entered the room. After 11 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Not guilty of first-degree murder. Not guilty of manslaughter. Not guilty of aggravated child abuse. Caylee Anthony was convicted only of 4 misdemeanor counts of lying to law enforcement. She was released shortly afterward. Outside the courthouse, outrage erupted. Many believed justice had failed. Others believed the system had worked exactly as it was designed to. The Caylee Anthony case remains one of the most searched true crime stories in America, ranking as the top case in 6 states, including Washington, D.C. And the reason is simple. There is no closure, no confession, no definitive cause of death, no answer everyone can accept. The jury didn't declare Caylee Anthony innocent. They declared the evidence insufficient. And in that space, between suspicion and proof, this case continues to live. A reminder that sometimes the truth doesn't come with certainty, only questions, and a child who deserved so much more.